Hi, this is Kerry Artek with Wicked Stocks bringing you the daily Apple report for Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. Before I click on the charts, just want to ask you to please click like if you haven't already, share the content with friends and colleagues, subscribe to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel, and check out wickedstocks.com, where we offer a full suite of both daily and weekly analytical videos just like this. Daily analysis in the SPY and the Triple Q, weekly analysis in the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, and the long bond ETF, the TLT, as well as two individual stock pick videos a week that you never see on YouTube that cater to the 3 to 5 week swing trader out to the 3 to 5 month near term investor, always looking for 20% moves on those underlying stock picks. So let's check out Apple for Tuesday, July 18th. I'll jump to this chart. Just to remind you that we are still in the midst of a long-term buy signal that was elicited several months ago when it closed for the week above the 169.51 channel top. On the way up, about a month and a half ago, we also closed above the previous all-time high from January of 22 at 182.94. We are, as of several months ago, when we closed above 169.51, expecting bullish continuation to the 222.78 long-term channel top, likely still by the end of the year. So that's still in play. Now for I'm going to jump to this chart here, 193.97. We close about 2 cents above this level, so I cannot consider it a valid, sign of follow-through strength. Although, if you put everything else together, there's a very real chance that we will gap above this 193.97 level. In fact, 194.32. Monday's high, we could easily gap above it and continue on up. Might we test 199.43 intraday if we happen to gap above 193.97? It is certainly possible. We are still in a longer term buy signal. This formation has been playing out nicely. We tested the 199.43 channel top a couple of weeks ago. I'd mentioned at the time how it could contain weekly buying pressures. And once tested, you should allow for the channel bottom that is presently at 187.10 within a couple of weeks of doing so. We fell close to this area about a week ago, did not test it. We're right back at it. And 193.97 remains our upward pivot point. If we push, especially if we open today above 193.97, we just might reach 199.43 intraday. Although I venture to say that closing higher on the day today, above Monday's 193.99 settlement price should yield 199.43 anyway over the next few days. So if we close a little higher today, I'm comfortable anticipating 199.43 over the next few days, where we could top out once again on a weekly basis and once again, once tested, fall off from there within a couple of weeks back to the 187.10 formation. As I've been mentioning, we could trade inside this channel band for the next few weeks, all the way through August perhaps. But we are in a long-term buy signal. As I mentioned at the top of this video, the 220s anticipated as our objective longer term. And if we were to close above 199.43, that would only be consistent with that long-term buy signal. In other words, closing above 199.43, that formation is considered an eventuality. And if by the end of the week we do, 211.18 becomes our next 2 to 3 week target. That is a longer term channel structure by several months, goes back to the January low. That becomes once again a 2 to 3 week target if we settle soon above 199.43. 211.18 is also rising aggressively. And on the weekly chart, it comes in at 213 even. And it actually converges with 222.78 as we move into later August. So there is a point to be made here, and that is to say that if we close above 199.43 over the next few days, I think you can then prepare for, yes, by the end of August, that 222.78 long-term objective where, I don't know if you bought the 220, 210, 220, 230 out of the money calls a couple of months ago when we settled above 169.51. But if you did not, and you're regretting doing so, obviously that could be the case, Your next opportunity to go long, as we move into August, there's two of them here on this chart. One is a settlement above 199.43, and then in which case you can definitely reach for those now more expensive 220 or 225 out of the money calls, or B, as we slip into the upper 180s. If we slip back into the upper 180s, 187.10, that is your next opportunity to reach for 220 out of the money calls, 230 out of the money calls. If we were, and I'll take a look at this chart. Actually, let me talk the downside today. Breaking or opening below 193.97. Is there a better chart to show that? This is probably a little better, a little more blown up. 191.47 I have reduced to just a minor point right now in deference to this short-term one-week channel bottom at 190.97, better shown here. So I just threw a lot at you. What I'm going to go back to is this chart. If we break or open today below 193.97, not only might we fall to 191.47, we could actually fall back to 190.97, and that is our new session containment level, able to contain session weakness. If we close below 190.97, we still have 189.58, but I will say that after all of that, after falling back and closing below 190.97, I do think over the next few days we could actually test 187.10. So we are, and I'll go back to this chart here, we are bullish into later week. We're bullish anyway, but I'm talking as a 2 to 3 day time frame. We're bullish into later week if we can gap higher today above the 194.32 high from Monday, or B, close above 193.97. Our 2 to 3 day time frame is then bullish to 199.43. Until then, we are merely testing this high settlement price from a couple of weeks ago. We can open lower on the day, ease back to not only 194.147, but also 190.97 intraday. So yes, gapping or opening below 193.97 will allow 190.97 intraday where a daily low can be placed. And if we close below 190.97, 2 to 3 day time frame shifts negative to 187.10, where we could bottom out, as I said earlier, through August trade, and from here round back up into the upper 190s, even to that 220s long-term resistance by the end of August, perhaps. So if we were, and it's not even worth mentioning today, but if over the next week we were to close below 187.10, that is a meaningful sell signal into August trade. The 173.01 to 75.26 area then considered a 2 to 3 week downside objective. Until then, you're buying pullbacks aggressively at 187.10 as we move into August trade, or you're buying a settlement above 199.43 as we move into August trade. This is kind of the 2 to 3 week to 3 to 5 week time horizon. I don't think there's really anything else that needs to be said. I have said it all. I'm just going to leave it at that for Tuesday's Apple Report. You have a great evening.